Hello everyone. Today I will go over the basics of Python and basics of coding, like general coding. I will try to improve your way of looking to the problems and understand the general coding language. So, first of all, if you want to write a code and then run it, so basically write some code and to run that code to make that code work, you need some configuration on your computer. So you cannot just like open text editor and write some code and expect it to work. And since I want this video to be quick and only about coding and Python, I will show you a very great way to not to struggle with configuration or not to download anything, but just basically open and you can just write your code and run it. So you open Google and write Google Colab and come to this site. Okay, this is your notebook, and here you can write your code, and then without doing anything, without downloading anything or without adjusting anything in your computer, you can just run your code, and I will show it to you in 5 minutes. But first I want to show you this coding environment. So this is your Google Colab, your basically coding environment. It works with Python. Basically what it does is that it gives you some server from the cloud so that you can run your code. If you buy Google Colab Premium, you can have more GPUs so that you can run code faster and you can run more powerful codes. But for today's video, we don't need that. We can just use the basic free version. So here, this is the name of your file. You can change it anything you want. I will call it, for example, Python tutorial 1. And I press enter, and now I saved it. And anytime I want, I can just go click on file and download as Jupyter Notebook so that I can upload it somewhere, or I can send it to my friend, or later I can open it using another like Visual Studio Code, etc. But I won't do it today, but you can always download your code. Here you need to connect to the server to run your code. So just connect. And now as you can see, it's connecting to the server. And now it's connected. Now we can run our code. When you press this button, run button, it runs. See? Without an error. It didn't give any error right now because basically we don't have anything. And here you can press this button to create another code cell, or we can create another text cell. Text works basically like a Word document. You can write like, this is my text. It's not code, so it just works. Press close, and here, this is my text. It's just a text, and you can, using these arrows, you can edit the layout. So I will delete these and start coding. Write some code. I want to see something on my screen. I don't like writing 200 lines of code or 500 lines of code and press this run button and see nothing. Okay, even though it works, I want to see something on my screen. And the most basic way to do it is print function. Print is a function that is defined. It comes with Python, so that you can use it. To use a function, you need to write the function name and then use parentheses. And inside the parentheses, functions takes some parameters. They don't have to take something, but print takes one parameter. What it does is that it prints it on the screen basically. For this video, I chose Python because it's very similar to plain English. So you can almost like read it. It's almost like a plain English, so you can read and try to understand what it means. So it's easier. So I want to print hello. Okay, let's imagine. I write hello and I click run, and it gives an error. It says name hello is not defined, because coding is not just writing in English. I know I told you that Python looks like it's similar to English, but it's not the same. You can't just print, you can't just write anything. You can't write something like game, and it doesn't mean anything, right? To print something, we need to define it before, or we can use strings. Print method just wants a string to write, okay? You can use this double quotes, and between double quotes, whatever you want, it's just a string. String is like this text, okay? It's just a text. Between when you write something between double quotes, Python understands that as a text and prints it. As you can see now, we don't get any error. We can see hello on the screen. We can write anything like print double quotes. This doesn't mean anything, right? You can just print it. Okay, so let me create another code cell. So, but what if we want to write a string, but we want to use it several times, like name, for example, okay? I want to print my name. What do I need to do? I need to first define the name, right? Because Python doesn't know anything about the name. Python is like, what's the name? What do you want to print? And I say, I want to print, for example, Mark, because my name is Mark, right? Name equals to Mark. It's easy as that. When I press this run button right now, print will see name, and it will look for name above, and it sees name is defined as Mark, so I need to print Mark. So it's the same as this, but now these are both will do the same, so we will see 2 marks. It's easy as that. So string is basically text, okay? How to define strings, I believe. Let me find another string. For example, what can I say? Okay, I can say like fruit equals apple. Now I want to print apple is $5. Okay, I want to print this, but I don't want to print like this, because when you write something like this, like it's static text, right? You cannot edit it. It's just hard-coded text. But sometimes you want to use this variable inside the print. You just want to print this variable, okay? How you do is that you need to combine variable inside the string. So you can't, you can try like fruit, and then it's $5, okay? It automatically like completed it, but this won't work because invalid syntax. Python doesn't understand this, because it will go like, okay, print fruits, but fruit is a variable, and then double quote. What does this mean? It won't understand this. Like in English, you need to make the grammar correct so that the other person understands it, right? So we need to make our grammar correct so that Python understands, because this is computer, this is not a human. In real life, even though you can't speak a language very well, like me, for example, I can't speak it in native, but you can understand me. But computer, it has strict rules, and it wants us to use grammar correctly. So what can we do is that we can put plus icon here, and now it works. So when you put plus, it's like apple plus is $5. But I made a small mistake here, because plus is just adds strings together, but I didn't put any space here, so it's just, as you can see, there's no space. Now there's space. Fruit, apple plus this string. anything you put in these strings is just a text, as I said. So every space, every anything is just printed. We print 5, right? But as in here we printed 5 as a string. So if you, for example, let's say apple price, when you want to name a variable, when you try to define a variable and you can name it, if it's more than 2 words, it's very good practice to name them as this apple price. Okay, just put this thing between the words and do not put like capital letters. Apple price equals, what do we do? Double quotes 5. So this is a string now, but of course we can print it like apple price. But now if you want to increase it, for example, print apple price, or not print, but okay, print apple price +1. What do we want? We want to print 6, right? Because we want to, for example, increase its price basically in our market. See, we get an error because we can print 5, okay, as a string because it's string. And then when we try to add 1, the print is like, this is string, but this is not. So you cannot add string and integer together. You cannot add apple. What can we do? As above, we can make them both strings, right? Apple price +1. But now this is gonna write 51 because it just puts them next to each other, like adds them together. But as you can see also from this example, it's just 5 and 1 because they are strings. Python doesn't do any math on strings because he thinks because they are basically text. What you need to do, you need to make this integer. Integer is just another type of variable in Python. It's for numbers and mathematical things basically. Now our apple price is 5. And this print, see this apple price is 5, it will print 5. But now this will give an error because now this is like integer and string is Python is like, please decide which one do you want to apply. So we will say that, okay, I want to sum integer and integer. And now it prints 6. So in this video, until now, I think you learned 2 variables like string and integer. Those are very common variables actually, and they are very important. There's another variable, float. I will not go deeper, but it's just like integer where you can just put a 0.0, for example, a maximum number. So if you want to work with natural numbers but also things like this, like 0 point, if it's important you can do like this too. Another variable is Boolean variable, bool. For example, usually when we are using Boolean variables, we put is in the beginning, like is present, for example. And Boolean variable is not like, it's not like integer or string, because string can be anything. As I said, it's just a text. An integer can be any number, almost any number. It can go huge, it can be negative, almost anything you want. But this Boolean, you need to choose between 2 choices. One is true and one is false, because sometimes you want to just see if something is possible or not, something is true or not. Okay, it's present, let's say it's true. How can you use this? We can say, let's print it first, because Google Colab recommends it, so we can just do it. Okay, it's present, it's true. Let's create another cell. We want to say if present, let me change the name of this, is apple present. This prints true, but actually this is not defined, but since we already run this code cell, it remembers is present, but we need to also change this. Actually, I did a small mistake, but it didn't give any error. Okay, we want to say that if is apple present, we want to print the price of the apple. How do we write it on the code? We just write if, okay? If, oh my god, Google Colab writes everything. Is apple present? And we put this is the syntax. As I said, it's like a grammar. It's like you are talking with the computer. When you write if, you need to put here a condition, and our condition is apple present. If wants a condition next to it. Okay, let me create text like if, and then a condition, and then we put this, and then we go, and after this it's like if this condition is true, do here. Okay, as simple as this. So you can write coding here like coding blah 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 blah. If your condition is true, the code apply here, it does here, and then continues. If your condition is wrong, it doesn't care anything about it, doesn't enter here, it continues. Then delete this. So if apple is apple present, what we want to do, we want to print, okay, we can just copy paste this, but I didn't show you else. Okay, just wait. Apple is present. Oh wait, let me do something else. If apple is present, let me print apple is present, and oops, I accidentally ran it, but print I will just write something very stupid. What's your name? I just want to show you something. When I run this, it prints apple is present, what's your name? Because this is true. When we make this false, now what happens if I run this? It will print the same, because we have to run this cell too. Every cell is independent. I mean, they are dependent, but when you change something, if you don't run it, this code will remember the previous round version of the variable. Okay, so first you run this, and then you run this. It only prints what's your name, because our condition is false. It ignores this area. Okay, you can also do for example, if is apple present, what was the name of apple price? It's an integer, right? I mean, it's float, but anyway, it's just a number. Let me make this integer. Okay, it's an integer, so we can say apple price plus 2. But what does this mean? I want to add 2 to the apple price, right? It's 5. I want to make it 7. But Python won't understand this, because it's like, if is apple present, let me make this true. It's true. It's like apple price plus 2, like 5 plus 2, 7. But what? I mean 7, okay. What do I do with 7? We need to say, I want to make apple price equals its own price plus 2, so 7. Now it will understand 5 plus 2, 7. What is 7? Apple price is 7, so apple price is now 7. And print apple price. Now it prints 7, because our condition is true. What if it's false? And now it will print 7, because it remembers that it was 7. Let me make this true, and now it will 9. Okay, because it remembers. Do something like this. Apple price equals 5. Okay, and let me take this here too. Okay, apple price 5, and this is true. Sometimes it's confusing because it remembers your past work, past variables, and I will show a way to handle this. Apple price 5 is apple present true. So what will our code do? If is apple present, which is true, so our condition is true, apple price equals apple price 5 plus 2, so 7 will print 7. If it's false, it will print 5 because we say 5, false, false, so ignore this. What is the apple price? It's 5. But sometimes, as you saw, it's a bit confusing because of we have too many cells. You can go runtime. You can say run all, so it starts from the beginning and runs all the code. But sometimes it also doesn't work in the way that you want. So you can go restart session and run all, disconnect and delete runtime. This is like disconnects you from server and deletes your current situation, your variables. If you uploaded something, for example, you can upload some files here so that you can work on them. It deletes everything, so you can start from the beginning and run all of your code. I think this was it for our first video of how to learn coding in Python. I hope I explained you basics of Python and how to look as an engineer to this coding and problem solving. You know string and integers, and you know some basic maths, of course, like subtracting, adding, etc. So your homework is to create a small dialogue in a market. Two people are talking in a market, and one person is coming to a supermarket and he says, "Hello, my name is blah blah, what's your name?" And the cashier says, "My name is this blah blah," and person says, "I want to buy this, how much is it?" Cashier says it was $5, for example, but now it's $3. If you pay with card, it's much expensive. I want you to create a small dialogue and just print it so that you can practice your skills. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.